Hey there! Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting off on an absolutely amazing adventure to uncover one of the greatest mysteries on our planet. You see, Earth is basically a giant, never-ending recycling center. It's constantly reusing its most important materials to keep plants, animals, and, well, all of us alive. To really understand how this magic works, I'm going to tell you a story from a very special point of view. So get ready, because today you're going to hear my story, the incredible journey of a water droplet. Okay, let's dive right into this. Imagine you step outside on a sunny day after a big rainstorm, ready to splash in a giant puddle on the sidewalk. But wait, a few hours later, my friends and I are completely gone. Have you ever wondered where we go when that puddle dries up? Did we sink? Did we just vanish? Nope, we didn't just disappear into nowhere. Actually, we went on a fantastic voyage, and that voyage is exactly what we're going to explore today. Like I said, I'm a busy water droplet, and I'll be your guide today. Did you know that my friends and I cover 71% of the entire Earth? Seriously, that's almost 3/4 of the planet. We're everywhere, and we are totally essential to living things. When you drink me, I help you digest your food. When you run around and get hot, I help you sweat so you can cool down and control your body temperature. So yeah, I might look small, but I have an incredibly big job to do. I also have some secret superpowers that you absolutely need to know about. First up is something called cohesion. It's a fancy science word, but it basically just means my water molecule friends and I love to stick together. Because we hold hands so tightly, we can actually travel all the way up a plant's stem, literally defying gravity to reach the very top leaves. My second superpower is a high heat capacity. That means I can absorb a whole lot of heat without getting super hot, and I don't freeze easily either. Because of this, when winter comes, the entire ocean doesn't just freeze solid, and that keeps all the fish and underwater animals completely safe and warm enough to survive. So my journey begins right in that puddle we talked about. When the sun comes out, it acts like a giant heater. I soak up that heat from the sun, and suddenly, I transform. I change from a liquid droplet into an invisible gas called water vapor. I literally float right out of the puddle and up into the sky. This magical vanishing act, it's called evaporation. Once I float up into the sky, I join what I like to call the Great Sky Journey. This relies on 3 main steps. We actually just talked about step 1, evaporation. Step 2 is condensation. High up in the atmosphere, the air gets pretty chilly. As an invisible water vapor droplet, I get cold and bond together with other vapor droplets. We get dense and turn back into liquid water or ice particles. Have you ever breathed on a cold glass window and seen a foggy spot up here? That is condensation. All of us particles come together to form big, fluffy clouds. Finally, step 3 is precipitation. When the cloud gets way too heavy and crowded with droplets, well, we have to come down. We pour back down to Earth in the form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail. When I plummet back to Earth as precipitation, I might just land in the soil. This excess water on the ground is called runoff. But I don't just sit there, no way. I go on a plant pit stop. Sinking deep into the dirt, I get sucked right up by a thirsty plant's roots. Using that superpower of cohesion we talked about earlier, I travel all the way up the plant's stem, visiting the branches and arriving right inside a nice green leaf. But wait, my journey doesn't end inside the leaf. Plants actually have their own special way of returning me back to the sky. This is called transpiration. You can think of transpiration as this magical escape route for water vapor. The leaf opens up tiny, microscopic little pores, and I just float right off the plant and back up into the air, ready to form a cloud all over again. It's this continuous, never-ending loop. Now, along this journey, I regularly bump into my absolute best friend in the whole world. Meet carbon. Carbon is a total superstar on Earth. It's a chemical element that acts as the ultimate building block of all life. Literally every single living thing is made of carbon. Plants, animals, and even you. You have carbon in your body right now, but it's also found in non-living things like fuel, the lead inside your pencil, and even sparkly diamonds. Both carbon and I are master travelers, but we fly through the air in slightly different ways. I fly when the sun heats me up, turning me from liquid water into water vapor gas. Carbon, on the other hand, enters the atmosphere as a gas called carbon dioxide, or CO2. How does it get up there? Well, every time you or an animal breathes out, you're sending carbon dioxide into the air. It also flies up into the sky as smoke when things like wood or fossil fuels burn. Plants are basically nature's chefs, and they are incredibly hungry. They pull that carbon dioxide right out of the sky. Then they mix it with water from the soil. Hey, that's where I come in. And light energy from the sun to cook up their very own food. This amazing recipe is called photosynthesis. Without the carbon cycle giving plants the CO2 they need, plants couldn't survive. And since humans and animals eat plants, well, you couldn't survive either. To complete our incredible team of natural recyclers, I have to introduce you to one more friend, nitrogen. If carbon is the building block and water is the delivery system, nitrogen is the ultimate power-up. Every living thing needs nitrogen to build its essential DNA. In plants, it's a crucial ingredient for making chlorophyll. That's the stuff that makes leaves green and helps with photosynthesis. But there's a catch. Plants and animals can't just breathe in nitrogen straight from the air. They need a special microscopic team of helpful bacteria living down in the soil. These bacteria unlock the nitrogen, changing its state so plants can finally soak it up through their roots. And I don't just travel over land either. These cycles are working constantly in the ocean too. When I'm floating in the sea, the sun's energy, along with the wind, acts like a giant mixing spoon in the water. The wind drives these things called upwellings, which push surface water away and pull deep, cold, nutrient-rich water all the way up to the top. This stirs up the ocean, cycling those important elements like carbon and nitrogen around, which keeps marine life super healthy and fully fed. So, looking at the big picture, you can really see how perfectly balanced Earth's systems are. In the water cycle, I go up into the sky through evaporation and come down to the ground through precipitation. Right beside me, the carbon cycle does a very similar dance. Carbon goes up into the atmosphere when you breathe out or through emissions and smoke. Then it comes back down to the ground when plants pull it out of the air for photosynthesis. Together, my friends and I act as Earth's giant, never-ending recycling center. Now, the crucial point here is that while Earth's natural cycles are perfectly designed, human actions can sometimes kind of mess up this delicate flow. Elements like carbon and nitrogen are stored safely in places called sinks. Think giant forests, deep oceans, and rich soil. But when humans do things like cut down forests, burn too many fossil fuels, or overfarm the land, you release way too much of these elements back into the air at once, disrupting the cycle. The good news, though, is that scientists use clever models to understand these disruptions. By studying our flow, they can figure out the best ways for you to protect the environment and practice sustainable habits. Which leaves us with one final, very big question to think about. What would actually happen if our cycles just stopped? Like, what if I couldn't evaporate? Or the plants completely ran out of carbon dioxide? Life as we know it would freeze in its tracks. The fact that this incredible recycling process happens every single second of every single day, all around you, is nothing short of miraculous. So the next time you drink a glass of water or take a deep breath, or even just watch a plant grow, remember me, your busy droplet friend, and my fellow recyclers. Keep asking questions, keep looking closely at the world around you, and keep exploring science.